here, and for giving us your film as well. We have the world premiere of the film here at the Tallinn Black Nights Film Festival. The film is screening actually today. It'll be screening at 9 p.m. At the IMAX. So we're live on Facebook, so whoever's watching, go check out the dates, because this is not just the only screening of the film. So go check out the dates and the availability of the tickets. Everything's online on our website, so easy to find. What I would like to do, first of all, is Children of the Fall. How did it start? What was the motive for you? What was the process, let's say, in writing the script and then getting to the story? And if you can kind of give a brief introduction of what is the story and how everything came up.
Cool. So first of all, hi. Hello. So Children of the Fall started actually in the fall of 2009, I think, or 2008. I always wanted it to be my first feature film. Later on, I came to the realization that it's not going to happen because it's too complex to be a first feature. So I wrote like a first draft of the treatment, I might say, just on the fly in a dark, stormy night in New Jersey. Came back to Israel, decided I want to move on and develop the screenplay. I joined forces with a screenwriter, an Israeli screenwriter called Daniela, and we worked on the first draft for about 6 months, I think. Really like try to polish it and from every direction and find the right direction, and then I just put it aside for about 5 years. We did our first feature film called Cannon Fodder. Did pretty well around the world, and then I came back to Children of the Fall and kind of rewrote it again and again and again and again. And the funny thing is, when I wrote it the first time, you know, I was younger, and the idea was to do a slasher in Israel, which is something that's never been done properly, like a true slasher, you know, following all the slasher rules and everything. I came from horror movies, so like Scream is one of my Bibles, you know. So that was the original intent, just to do a hardcore slasher film, to set it up on Yom Kippur, which is the most important day for Jews. It's a day where the country basically shuts down. No cell phones, no cars, nothing. So it's a perfect setting for a slasher film. But when I came back to the film, older, wiser, some might say, less hair. Yeah. So it changes your perspective, the lack of hair. But when I came back to it, a lot of things became more intense, more deep. A lot of the social commentary that was there in the first draft kind of took a whole new different shape because of the way I see the world now. So the film went on to be a lot different, or the tone was different than in the first draft. So we ended up with this pretty cool hybrid, which is a slasher film on the one hand, but this sort of a social commentary drama on the other, and they kind of connect in the movie to do something different, which is, I guess, what I always wanted to do. I wanted to do like a horror movie that feels like in the 70s, you know, like Halloween or The Exorcist. Not that I'm saying that mine is like those. It is. It's a masterpiece. I'm kidding. But that's like what I was going for.
So these are, let's say, this is the blueprint that you kind of followed, but when watching your film, it's very correct what you said. It's in a hybrid, and when it comes to film, it's always pretty hard to manage to balance, especially different genres. So I would like to ask you and to have a little bit of a background information about what was the process in coming, especially from the background that you said, in doing something that is both genre and, let's say, more socially and politically involved film. So how did you manage to to balance it out, and both from a perspective of writing and from a perspective of style, also in terms of cinematography, because obviously the genre, film has also demands for specific lighting, specific lenses, or specific camera work. So what was this and the collaboration also to make it a whole package?
So I'll start a bit from Eitan's end, and he might need to help me out, but he really knew what he wanted. When we started sitting about how we want to shoot the film and how we want it to look, he came with a lot of different references from films from the 70s and 80s, and it was literally look at the blacks on this one and look at the sky on this one, or look at the way the camera moves on this one. And we started building the visual style, looking back, I think, through films that we both like, and films that some of them I haven't seen, but Eitan brought them to my attention, and I really liked them. And we were trying to, I don't want to say emulate the same style, but we were looking for those slow moving shots. We were looking for the big open spaces. We were looking for something that will feel large and feel big and sit well on a big screen. And then technically we went for different types of lenses that will give us that same kind of feeling. We went for anamorphic lenses that will give us a lot more screen room and places for the actors to move around on our sets. And I think that really helped us out, get the movie to the look that we were going for. As of style-wise, that really helped us bring it to it. And then once we got to the locations, a lot of it just fell into place. When you want to film somebody dying or or somebody running, panicking through a dark forest or something other, it looks pretty cool. All you have to do is just add a bit of light and then tell the actors what to do. I think it's a synergy between what the director wants and knows what he's going to get, between the visuals and between what's just happening in front of the camera. And a lot of times we knew what we were aiming for, we would just let it happen in front of the camera, and then Eitan would push them this way a bit or that way a bit. But the social commentary part of it and all the drama part of it, I feel that was really, on my end of it, that was a simple part. Letting the actors just get the time to be on screen and give out what they need to give. I don't think cinema should be so grandiose that you're noticing the camera movements in the director. You should let what's going on just play out on itself sometimes. And I think our film has a great balance of, we'll call it genre-looking frames and camera movements. And we also have the very basics of just cameras not moving. It's on a tripod, letting the actors talk and letting the action unfold in front of the camera, which I think lets a lot of times the audience get into the movie a lot more than trying to push them into the horror genre and trying to push all these sounds and noises into their faces, which I think we did a lot more on our last film, the zombie movie that we did. And on this one, we wanted to make it just be a good film and without trying too hard, and I think somehow we managed to do that.
I can say that from my end, as a writer and director, what Tom said is 100% true. We started with a lot of references, basically. One of my favorite directors, actually three of my favorite directors are, first of all, Steven Spielberg, and after that, John Carpenter and Clint Eastwood. These are like my top three directors. So whatever we could steal from Spielberg, we did, whether it, specific shots or a way to cover a scene. But that's obvious, because that's in our DNA, to steal from Spielberg. But for this one, I gave Tom a list of especially John Carpenter and no, actually it was John Carpenter, Escape from New York and The Thing and Halloween, of course. And from Clint Eastwood, a variety of films, but most specifically Sudden Impact, which is Dirty Harry #4. Which is the only Dirty Harry movie he directed, and it shows, because, for me as a visual storyteller, Dirty Harry 4 was a perfect example of what I want to do, because half of it is set on day, which is a bit of a drama, or more of a suspense thriller, but when the night scenes come, they're more intense action, even sort of horror film, because that film is really gritty. It talks about rape and the impact of rape on the justice system, so there were specific scenes in that movie where I told Tom, listen, this is what I want to do. You remember the scene in there was a specific scene that we're not going to say exactly what.
Ruin it for people.
Yeah, well, there's a specific murder scene in the movie, and like I took the scene from Dirty Harry, and I told Tom, this is exactly what we need to do. Same idea. Let the people hear what's going on, less to show, more of a sound and feel scene. So it was basically just collecting things that I love from the genre and mashing them up together because, as we said, I felt the movie is kind of a hybrid, so I wanted to bring my own voice and show what I like and things that influenced me as a director and combine them all together for something new. And we had also an amazing art director in the film. And she totally got what we were going at with our scope and the colors that we wanted to use. And she gave her own little touches, especially in the first part of the movie, which is more drama. She came up with a lot of ideas of how to create suspense and tension with what we showed her. Like one of the things John Carpenter does amazingly is that he can shoot a scene like in broad daylight, but because he's using anamorphic lenses and he knows how to like play around with what you see, he creates a lot of tension in the frame with just still objects. So Carmela really went in with us on that direction, and she, like in the first part of the film, like if you watch it for a second time, you'll notice a lot of things in the background that like influence what's going on with the actors, like certain things that are placed in specific angles to make you feel that something is off without you knowing that something is off, even like a simple dialogue scene. So that really worked on how to combine like the horror elements and the drama elements to just play around with what you have.
And I'm glad you also mentioned Spielberg because like he just managed to make a whole film just with a truck and a car and and make it work pretty well. So this is definitely a reference that makes a very good point also with your film. And same thing also goes for the day and night scenes. Like you can really tell the difference, the shifts between when it's day and when it's night in style and in rhythm also in a way. What I'm really interested in is the duality, though, of filmmaking in this sense that when making a film and dealing with sensitive subject, in a way, there's always it's still fiction, but there's an approach also where you're filming that is a little bit more serious. But when making a slasher or a horror film, it's a little bit more fun also on set. So I wanted to just ask you, how was the balance and how was the shooting for you guys? Was it, because usually it's very much fun making a horror film or making so how did that work out?
I'll start this answer first of all with a story from the set. One of our chief people on set, the Steadicam operator, who had a lot of work in this movie. So we were doing these location scoutings, and we went to this kibbutz, and we were talking about each, and was blocking the scenes to the entire crew to make them understand what's going on in each scene. And when we started off the entire process, he was like, "Oh man, you guys are doing a horror film. You guys are crazy. You're absolutely mad, and you're psychos, and blah, blah, blah." After like 4 locations, he comes up to us and says, "Where are all the fun stuff? Like, where's the killings? What's going on here? Like, you're showing us these drama locations. Get on with the death." So yeah, there's a lot of fun into that, and but I have to say that as a director, I treat all scenes the same way. Like, it doesn't matter if it has special effects or an intense dramatic moment. It's the same. You have a story to tell. You have a scene to do. Actors have to act differently for each scene, but they still have to bring their A game. So it doesn't really matter. Like, if you have a special effect, that's one challenge, and if you have an actress or an actor who's supposed to have an emotional moment, that's another challenge. But essentially, they're the same challenge because you have to tell the story, and you have to tell it with the camera and with the actors. So finding the right balance came sort of natural. I just came to each day prepared to do what we have to do. And I'll tell another story from the set, not to be tapping on my back or anything, not in this way, but We had a specific scene in the middle of the movie, which is a really, really, really complicated sequence in a dining room with a lot of extras, and it's quite emotional, and it's a long sequence. It's about 10 or 12 minutes of a scene, and it's really, really complex. And like, to make it even harder on ourselves, we shot it while the place is actually working. Actual people are coming to eat dinner and lunch while we're shooting, and they're all around us. Like, we didn't make it easier on ourselves. And these were
Just cheaper.
Yeah, it was cheap. It was cheaper, but it was really difficult, and like, it felt in some, and we shot it towards the end of the shoot, so it felt in some ways to the crew and to us that we're saving the best for last, like the most difficult. And it was made of 2 shooting days, really, really stressed with a lot of shots and some action, and you'll see it when you see the movie. And when I woke up at the first morning of the shoot to that location, I turned to my wife, Yafit, who is also acting in the movie. She's playing Selena, the Spanish volunteer. And she produced the film as well. So in the morning, I turned to Yafit and said, you know, it's going to be a piece of cake, this location. It's going to be easy, because we're so prepared for it. Everyone knew exactly what they have to do.
On the same page.
Exactly. Even the actors, you know, they were so in tune with us, and you know, we just came to this. We actually just came and shot it. It was so easy. Like, everyone exactly knew. I think we actually wrapped up these days even ahead of schedule, because it was so
Smooth,
exactly. So, to make a very long story short, it's finding the balance is just being prepared and making sure that everyone knows exactly what you're doing and they're all with you.
Yeah, and this is a very good point. Also, you know, living it for the last, probably it helped because you built up also chemistry between everybody. So once you got there, the machine was already oiled and it was just smooth and everything worked.
Yep.
Well, we filmed for 31 days, and which is a lot for Israel specifically. I think it's a lot for everywhere, but it's quite a lot for Israel. And we slept and close to the locations where we were planning on filming, and it really made the whole crew come together, which I think really helped when we came to these big scenes. It was as if we were just one huge team of people that just want to make this happen. And going back to what you started with, it was a different movie for almost everybody than what most people are used to working on in Israel. And for some way, it caught on. It was like wildfire, and everybody that was there was already wanted to be a part of it. They wanted to see these scenes unfold, and they wanted to see something that's so different from what they're used to seeing on screen come to life. And I think all those things together really made the crew just feel that we're all in this together for the same reason. It's not I'm the DP and he's a director. It's just everybody there to work and have a good time in the end. It was really difficult, but I don't remember a day that when we finished, nobody was smiling. Even the actors, which were covered in sticky, gooey blood. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you very much. We're running out of time, so we'll wrap it up real quick. But I just wanted to close by saying that the film is real fun to watch, and it kind of makes you feel like, should I be enjoying it so much? Because then you are also, you know, dealing with more serious topics in the background, and they're all part of the whole package, let's say. So that's the beautiful thing about it, I think, that while enjoying the film, you can actually also experience something more and not just 100% slasher, which is fun and it's entertaining, but this adds another layer, let's say, to the whole film. So I'm really happy that you guys managed to come over here and give us your film. So once again, I'm just going to repeat, because until everybody goes and buys the ticket, I'm just going to say it as much as possible. The film is going to screen tonight at 9 p.m. in Cosmos IMAX here in Tallinn, obviously, and it's the world premiere. So first time anybody gets to see the film is here in Tallinn. And once again, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. And the film is called Children of the Fall.
Yeah.
So come and watch it.
not scared. Young girl alone.
After the 6-day war, who's gonna try and fight us, right?
עברית את מדברת?
English would be easier.
You made the right decision by coming to the kibbutz. You're home.
Sometimes it's like a summer camp around here. Most of the time, they're good kids.
Why does everyone keep assuming I'm running away from something?
This is a country for refugees. Everyone here is running away from something.
They just don't accept me as one of their own. And I am. I want to be.
Get the hell out of here and don't come back.
People here have been through a lot. For some of them, it's not easy to trust strangers.
Can't you see they treat you like a second-class person?
Do you know what they went through?
That justifies the way they treat you?
A lot more blood's gonna be spilled on this ground before they realize they gotta find a common end.
יום כיפור נכנס בעוד שעתיים.
זה יום של כפרות. יום של סליחות. אתה בכלל מבין מה זה אומר, חתיכת תמפית.
You didn't have me talk.
There's a war. They're coming to kill us all.